And what's up, folks? I'm Albert Lawrence. This is the IMDb show, and today our guest is the prolific Mark Duplass. Welcome, Mark.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yes, man. So, okay, let's talk about the morning show.
Yep.
The morning show addresses some very relevant themes to today. But as you were shooting it, did you ever get the sense that you were really tackling something very important?
What happened with the morning show is that it was going to be this very interesting, funny, fast-paced show about morning television. They wrote a bunch of episodes about that. Then the Me Too movement happened.
Mitch Kessler, my co-host and partner of 15 years, was fired today.
And then they sat in the writer's room and they said, are we going to spend the time, money, and energy to go back and rework this thing so that we can be a relevant show? And they did the great thing. They said, let's do it.
We're in the middle of an epic rebirth.
So when we were making this show, they were writing scripts as we were going. We were playing catch up as we went, which, look, if that happens on an independent film, it's not a big deal. This is Apple's flagship show. So they let us do this with their tentpole.
You have to lose it sometimes to get people to take you seriously.
So we're chasing something that we feel can be socially relevant and add a little something to the larger conversation of where we're at with workplace politics and dynamics and everything.
I had no idea that they were writing this as you went along.
I just dropped that right here. So, you know.
Most people want to trust that the person that is telling them about the world is an honest person.
Clearly, though, there's such a weight-worthy cast because I mean, look, we've got Reese Witherspoon, Jennifer Aniston.
Mark Duplass is in it.
Mark Duplass.
It's crazy.
Describe for me how it felt to be on a set surrounded by fellow Hollywood heavyweights.
Yeah, so I got my start in this industry with a $3 movie that I made in my brother's kitchen.
I'm sorry I've missed your call, but if you could leave your...
And then cut to 14 years later, and I am just hanging out with Jen Aniston, Reese Witherspoon, Steve-O Carell, Bill Crudup, you know, Mahomes. It is surreal.
They're gonna think you are crazy.
Let's talk about Chip. You play the executive producer on the show within the show.
Yeah, so I play Chip Black. He is the head producer. He is perennially stressed out. He lives a unilateral experience. Keep this show afloat, which is an impossible task, and then you throw in a bombshell like the Me Too movement and a scandal, and then you get sort of, you know, a really fun character to play. Jen Aniston and I have almost worked together about 10 different times on different projects, and the idea that I was going to get to play a really close, intimate, complicated relationship with her was the first big draw for me for this show. We are old friends, and it is real dark and real sweet and about as complex as a relationship gets.
I've known you 15 years, Chip. We came up the ranks together, for better, for worse. Lately, it's been for worse, but whatever.
We get a chance to see Reese Witherspoon's character get discovered via a viral video. Since you're often like looking for talent and putting together projects, what's the most unusual way that you've discovered a talent?
Sometimes it's been as weird as like a guy once contacted me on Twitter. He was a comedian and was now living out of his car. And there was something about him. I was just like, this guy's really funny and he needs a hand. And so he lived in our office for a year. And then we made a movie that's not done yet. His name is Doug. And the movie is called The Dougumentary. And it's about his life.
Good work,
Dougie!
Dougie, you did the right thing.
What's up, Doug?
Yes, it's the greatest thing that's ever happened. He's a miracle straight from heaven, blah, 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 blah.
Another film that you've worked on, Bombshell, is about to drop. And that one is based on the Ailes Fox News scandal.
I need to know that you're loyal. I need you to find a way to prove it.
My role in Bombshell is much smaller. I played Charlize Theron's brother in Tully, and she needed someone to play her husband in the movie. It's hard when you're casting the husband role that's not that interesting of a role. It's literally like what used to happen in the 90s when women were like, oh, am I gonna play the wife role? It actually still happens, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
So my position was less about how do I portray this character to the best of his ability, and it was more about Charlize Theron is playing one of the most difficult roles she has played in her life. She's got prosthetic makeup all over her. She's got an accent, and she's also trying to be vulnerable and present. So my job is to do whatever I can to raise her up and be in a support position.
Wait, am I gonna be the story?
No.
No. I'm gonna be the story.
No.
Well, we're highly looking forward to that. That's going to
The
be
movie
major.
is, I can tell you,
Yeah.
it's incredible.
Hot in here.
So Mark, we know that you make a ton of film and television, but what are you watching right now?
Oh, best documentary I saw is called Honeyland. It is the story of this woman who is a beekeeper, and her neighbors move in, and they have an interest in also getting some honey from the bees. And it is the simplest, most riveting, most visually arresting documentary I think you will ever see. There's a female filmmaker named Chloe Zhao who made 2 incredible independent films. The first is called Songs My Brother Taught Me, and the second is called The Rider. And she's just been hired to direct this new Marvel movie. But she casts actual people in narrative films and creates this documentary narrative hybrid.
Don't make God another man that you abandoned your children for.
And so check out Chloe Zhao's stuff before she brings you her Marvel masterpiece.
Can you give us one more?
This is not super unique, but I really fell in love with Succession.
You see, everybody, honesty.
And I thought that was just incredible what they did, how I found myself loving watching these rich getting their asses handed to them, and then actually, despite myself having some sympathy for them.
I wonder if the sad I'd be without you would be less than the sad I get from being with you.
Mark, thank you so much for being here. You are a pleasure to talk to.
Well, shucks.
And if you're not already watching, you can catch Mark on The Morning Show on Apple TV Plus, streaming right now. And we've got even more interviews for you to check out on imdb.com/show. And of course, we can't leave you hanging without this. It's all the latest previews and our trailer.
Maybe it's time we made our new movie.
Good idea, Scoob. But first we need a trailer. Oh, can you do the trailer guy voice?
Well, let me give it a shot.
Okay, boys and girls. Let's keep our eyes on the prize. Fly safe, fly true. Set your phasers to fund.
I love you so much, Gary. I'll never forget the day we met.
I'm your friend.
I've always wanted to hear you say that.
So, you're supposed to be Tom's best friend that he won't shut up about. Well, I don't see the appeal.
That is very gross.